Be a baddie and a lady. Don't do shit unless it pays me. Can't let no man play me. Bitch, bad bitch, give it bad bitch, bad bitch, give it bad bitch. I wanna scream, I wanna shout.
I know you already know my favorites if you've been here for a while, and I know you're going to think I'm biased, but if they were to give awards, I would give for the amateur performers, because people like Locken and Ella B have been doing this for years. They've actually competed on on a world stage. So I wouldn't want to place them in the same league as the rest of the group. So if I were to give prizes, I am really here for Big Wit and Ty, and for Scott, their dedication, the way they went into it. They were not the best of singers or the best of rappers, but their dedication to it made it more appealing. But that's just my opinion. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 10, Episode 50. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. So you have Ty and Ella are on cloud nine. They are very ecstatic because both their parents seemed happy with how the relationship has progressed and how Ty seems to be a better man now that he's in a coupling with Ella, and the fact that he told Ella was he loves her was very big for the family, and both mothers were talking about marriage and stuff. And so I don't know. They need to do a lot of work, Ty and Ella. They need to go to couples counseling. They need to have premarital counseling before they even consider the idea of marriage. And before they get to that, they need to survive on the outside for at least a couple of months. Otherwise, you never know. Ty, once the doors are open to his DMs, what's going to happen. And then Scott has a chat with Lockham. I think he spoke to Lockham because he's one of the people he trusts. I don't think he really trusts Ty, neither does he trust Scott, because of the way they've behaved and the way they sabotaged his relationship with Catherine. And then he was just saying he doesn't feel like he wants to move at the same pace as everybody else in the villa. And it seems Abby is trying to compare them to all the other couples and is trying to push for them to move at the same pace when he's not yet there. And her parents had said that, that Abby needs someone who's a slow burner. She just doesn't need to rush into a relationship, because if it fails, then she's going to be heartbroken. And he feels at least she needs to sort of come down from where she is a bit and sort of meet him halfway, because otherwise it's not going to work. And then he then sat down with Abby and sort of had a conversation with her and told her that, I am a slow burner. You are someone who falls in hard and very fast. And I was hoping that after speaking to your parents, we could sort of have a conversation and see if we can meet each other halfway. I think the reason why Scott has decided to be a slow burn is because he's heartbroken from the way sort of things panned out with Catherine. I don't think he expected Catherine to come from Casa Amor with somebody, and then the way things happened, even though Catherine is busy saying that they made up, I think he is still heartbroken because he spent a lot of time on his own. I remember him speaking to his mom and sister, saying, it took me about 3 or 4 days to sort of understand what was going on after Casa Amor, which means that he is trying to explore things with Abby, but he's not going to sort of fully invest himself the same way he did with Catherine, just because everybody keeps saying Abby is still has feelings for Mitch. And if he falls in and falls hard, he's going to be heartbroken for the second time. So he'd rather take his time, make sure everything is right before he proceeds any further, which makes sense to someone like me. And then Abby has a sit down with Mitch. I don't even know why they had that sit down. It was a waste of time because we knew that we were going to go on the same merry-go-round. I don't know whether the producers asked for that, because Abby was saying, her family was upset with the way Mitch treated her, and Mitch is saying, oh, my parents think that you still have feelings for me. And it's like, why do we need this? I'm happy that Ella B went up to them and sort of was able to break that up, because otherwise it's the same merry-go-round. Mitch has feelings for Abby. Abby has feelings for Mitch, but the problem is Mitch also has a crush on Ella B. So he's trying to sort of work on his crush and was hoping that Abby would be waiting for him until he's good and ready to come back for her. And she decided to continue with Scott because she has to be in a coupling in order to stay in the villa. I have a feeling they'll get back together once they're on the outside, and it will not work because they're both very toxic. So I don't know how that's going to play out. And then you have Whitney and Ella sort of laughing about their fight and trying to dissect what happened. Anybody that's lived with anybody for any length of time will tell you that there's always going to be commotion, there's always going to be arguments about the slightest thing. When you live apart from someone, you love them, you're happy for them, you're all this, that, and the other. But if you're living on top of one another, you're going to start being nitpicky, and the slightest thing, the way they breathe, the way they cough, the way they chew, the way, you'll find something that will annoy you. So them arguing and only having one argument in 7 weeks, as Ella said, is quite an accomplishment. I give it to them, because they should have fought over something by now because of how close they were, and they were spending most of their time together. So they should have fought about something. And so the idea that they can joke about it and laugh about it, I hope everybody lets it go and leaves them to enjoy the rest of their time in the villa. The islanders go to bed, and Ty is in a great mood. He's dancing all over the place. I'm just like, oh my God. He's trying, at least. He's trying. Love looks good on him. And then the producers are shady because they were showing everybody in bed. And then they had to zoom in on Zach's bracelet. So he's got the bracelet that Molly gave him, but he's also kept his old bracelet that Molly wanted him to get rid of. In the morning during debriefing, obviously, everybody's still ecstatic. They're still excited that they got to meet each other's parents. And then Abby brings up the fact that she and Scott she's struggling with how they are going about and where they are. And Whitney sort of said to her, if a man loves you, he'll do anything for you. He'll show it through actions. Don't listen to his words, because men lie, but their actions will always reveal what they mean. And then it's revealed that Scott was talking about possibly breaking up with Abby. I think, as I've said, Scott will never invest himself in Abby because Abby is still stuck on Mitch. And until Abby can get over Mitch, or until Abby can show Scott that she's over Mitch, he's not going to put himself out there. No one in their right mind would want to open themselves up to a heartbreak after investing in someone who's still stuck on somebody else. She needs to get rid of her baggage with Mitch and then expect Scott to fully open up. So then Whitney refuses to say who told her. And so Abby's intention is now to speak to Scott and find out exactly what happened. Scott is sitting with Whitney and Locken and Ella and Ty, and so they're busy talking. They're trying to find out about him and Abby. They're saying Abby's very upset, and it's like, you people, make it make sense. Everybody was criticizing Scott and saying he's not fully into Abby. Scott then decided to pull himself back because of everything everyone was saying, and the fact that people were saying Abby's still stuck on Mitch. And now suddenly they expect him to jump in head first. The last time he invested himself in a relationship with Catherine, they criticized him until Catherine went to Casa and brought somebody else. So make it make sense. You cannot. Do you want him to explore a connection with someone and actually open himself up, or do you want him to close himself off and protect his heart because he's worried that his heart might be broken if he invests in someone who's still stuck on someone? Make it make sense. Pick a side and stick to it. I think the Islanders see Scott as a threat. That's the impression that I'm getting. And the idea that if he couples up with someone and if he's got a great connection, he's going to win the show over them. I think this is why they keep sort of trying to dissect everything he's doing. I don't think it's anything to do with him as a person, because everyone that's come out of the villa, no one has said anything negative. There's been no negative sort of posts about him from ex-girlfriends, friends, or whatever. So I think people are threatened by the idea that he might actually win. And because he hasn't been involved in anything that's toxic, they're trying to find ways to sort of bring him down the way they tried to bring Whitney down, or the way they've brought down other islanders. That's my impression. Scott then goes for a chat with Abby, and Abby sort of saying, I heard you wanted to dead things off, blah, blah. And he said, yes, because yesterday when I woke up, I was very scrambled and I was overthinking everything. I'm not saying I want to end things, but I'm saying let's take things slow. I think the reason why he's saying let's take things slow is because if they leave the villa and if things don't work out, then he's not sort of committed himself to something that he's not able to live up to. I think if I were Abby, I would take a step back and see what he does. I don't ask him for coffee. I just take a step back. And for Sammy to be saying, coffee just takes water with sugar and milk. Can you please sit down and keep quiet? You've put just through 100, 1,000 times more things than what Scott is doing to Abby. Your bum needs to sit somewhere. You and your peanut gallery, all of you. Zachariah was very disrespectful to Catherine. Ty, I've lost count of the number of ways that he's disrespected Ella in the villa. So please, can you all sit down and keep quiet? The Islanders then receive a text message to say that there is a talent show, and I can't wait. The first thing that comes to mind is India and her little flute. So the islanders get ready, pick up their drinks, and go for the talent show. And for me, some of it was very painful to watch. Really, very painful to watch. I think Zachariah did okay. I don't even know what Sammy was doing. He was all over the place. I think Lockham did great, given that the fact that he said he represented the country for whatever that spin disc thing he was doing. Ella B, they really didn't show us much, but for what we saw, she seems to do great. I have no idea what Abby was doing. Seriously, no idea at all. It didn't make sense. And Molly and the hula hoops, it was sort of like child is bordering on sexy. It was very chaotic and very confusing. I didn't quite understand it because the fact that she was twerking and stuff didn't make sense with hula hoops, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a bit backward. And then Ella and Jess, they did try, but I can't say there was any move that was outstanding. Apart from them riding their guys, nothing really. They were not synchronized the dancing, and one would outperform the other. It wasn't that great. And then I think the standouts for me, Mitch was sad. It was sad, Mitch. Really sad in the sense that he, I think the producers helped him write the jokes, but then they all tanked. And I think they did that on purpose just to make him look silly. Because obviously, if he had come and if he had really been good at it, then people might have taken offense. But because he was very bad at it, people just looked at him and were just saying crickets, crickets. And so it didn't make any sense. I think the most outstanding for me were Ty and Big Wit and Scott. And for Scott, I think the good thing was he chose a song that he knew everybody would know and that people would want to sing along to. So that was amazing. Um, and Wit and Ty, they as well, both both groups. So Scott's on his own, and Whitney and Ty, they were not the best, but they performed, and the audience sort of bought into it, which made it more interesting to watch, in my opinion. So if I were to award prizes, I would give Ella B and Locken. Obviously, they are world championship performers, so they automatically are using a skill that they've worked on and they've honed in for years and years and years. And then if you're saying amateur performers, I'll give it to Big Wit and Ty and Scott, because both teams were not the greatest of, they were not the best rappers, and Scott wasn't the best singer, but the fact that they were so into it and so dedicated and put all their effort into it and made it so appealing that the audience had no choice but to get involved. It's not like they kept asking the audience, get involved, get involved. No, people just participated because they really loved it that much. So I would give them awards for that. But it was interesting. It was interesting. I think the worst one this season was Mitch and Abby. Abby was terrible, and the fact that she said, "I've been a clown already, so why can't I put on clown makeup?" Didn't make sense to me. It was a dig, I think, both at Scott and Mitch, which I don't know why, and I think this is the reason why Scott needs to leave her, because she's not she seems to throw a tantrum if she doesn't get her way. That's the impression that I'm getting, that she's always going to throw a tantrum. And if you know that you don't want to work very hard for a relationship, then you might as well just leave her and just, have peace. Otherwise, you're constantly going to trying to appease her and meet her expectations that she sets for you. But then that's just me. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one.